So if you're a hairstylist, beauty school student, or beauty professional, you probably clicked on this video because you need clientele and money in your pocket. So in this video, I'm gonna show you 5 marketing tips for hairstylists to help you get clients in 1 week. And this is the exact method that I use when I am either in a new place and I'm working independently, or I just need clientele fast. So no more small talk, let's get into it. So tip number 1, and the bane of my existence, and you probably hear it everywhere, is content. And content is super important, whether you are starting out in a commission salon, you're working for somebody, or you're working independently. It's very important to learn this process from the beginning. It's something I wish I'd have picked up in beauty school, and I really wish I'd have done it while I was in beauty school, because I didn't realize how important it is to have a portfolio or content of the work that you do. It's extremely vital, and it's the one component that without you, really the rest of this formula won't work. But the reason that content is the bane of my existence is because for me, it always added on so much time to the service or the work that I was doing. And when I'm working or I'm doing hair, I just like to be in the zone and doing my artwork. But when I have to worry about setting up a camera or taking pictures before or after shots, or I'm on a time limit and I have to get to my next client, it's just the last thing that I'm ever really thinking about, but it's still necessary. Now, when creating content, the one thing that I changed up about it to kind of keep my workday flowing and going is I just do the same thing with each and every client. I always make sure to get a before shot for one, set up my camera in 2 or 3 different angles throughout the service. I'll start it in one area of my salon at the beginning of my service. About midway through, I'll move it to another angle, and then I'll keep on doing that. As I'm shampooing, maybe I'll move it to the shampoo bowl. And sometimes if I forget a step, who cares? Because I already have some content in there. I never really knew what it was I was recording. I didn't know what my post would be about or what the purpose of the content was. I just knew that I needed it. And then at the end of the service, I'd always make sure to get an after shot. Now, one thing that I wish that I still kept on doing, but I don't always do, is I would hope that I would remember to take stuff in portrait and landscape. No. Yeah, landscape is sideways. Portrait and landscape mode. Sideways and upwards, you know, for whatever you want to use, whether it's YouTube or Instagram or TikTok or just a website, you know. Having content in both portrait and landscape is really, really important, and I wish I'd have known that sooner. But if I don't remember to do that, as long as I remember to take some content, I always have something. So at the end of the day, everything works as stock footage, before and afters, shots of you working. You know, you don't really realize how important the content is until you have it all and you're trying to come up with something and you realize, I have all this, I can make it work. But at the end of the day, you just want to make sure that you record that content. Now, tip number 2, a salon website. You know, something that showcases you, your work, and what it is that you do and how much you charge for it. You know, the number 1 question that I get from new clients when they call me up on the phone or shoot me a text message or I get something in my inbox or my DMs is pricing. You know, they all want to know a general pricing or how much something is going to cost them. Clients really need a centralized place to just go and see what it is that you offer, what it is that you do, what you specialize in, and how much it's going to cost them, at least on average. And that's why a website is so important. It gives clients that place to go to. And this is why content is so important. You know, you can't really, well, you can build a website, I guess, without much of your own content. There's a lot of stock imagery out there that you could use if you need to, but having a website that really showcases you, where all they see is you and your work and your content, it stands out so much more than anything else that you could use stock imagery for. It really gives clients a sense of what your space looks like, who you are as a person, you know, what they're walking into. So having a website with your content that's the next goal. That's the next step that I usually go into. I always want to make sure I have my content and I have my own personal website. Okay, now tip number 3, and another one that you really should be starting as soon as you're in beauty school, is a social media account. You know, along with content, social media, those are 2 things that you really want to get in the habit with as soon as you're in beauty school. I don't even have those habits yet, I'll be honest. It's so hard for me to keep up with it at this point because I'll do clients and I get busy and I find myself not having time. I'll go through spurts where I'm just like, yes, I'm so conscious about setting up my camera every single time, and just days when I don't feel like it, and it's a habit. It's a habit I wish I'd have developed in beauty school, but content and social media, you really can start them from the get-go. Because as important as a website is for clients to come and see what it is that you offer and how much you're charging for it, where they really get to see you as a person and get to know you personally is through a social media account. Because that's really where we're just a little bit more personable there, you know? And doing hair is such a personable service. Clients do have an interest in you as a person, who they're letting actually physically touch their hair and perform this exchange of energy with. It's a personal time for them. So they are interested in it, they do want to see it, and they do get that through social media. Even if you're not really big on social media, I mean, you still acquire clients through it. You know, it doesn't take a lot of followers to get clients, but as long as you have content, a website, and a social media account going, I mean, these things have worked for me and they're still working for me today. And that's why I'm making this video, you know? I'm trying to show people what it is that I do, because one day I just woke up and it clicked to me, like, I've been in business for a while, I've been profiting for a while, and I still feel like I don't have the social media game figured out, but I still have clients in my chair and money in my pocket, and I'm successful at it. It's working, you know, it's working for me. So these 3 things you really want to start from the get-go. Before you're even in business even, it's gonna help you out big time. So if any of this is making sense for you, go ahead and real quick, click a subscribe button, you know, because I'm gonna show you in another video how I go ahead and make my actual salon website to kind of plug into this formula and really show you how to get clients calling you in as soon as a week. Okay, so tip number 4, and this is where it really got life-changing for me. A girl in my first salon, she was like, do you have a Google page? I was like, no. And she's like, you gotta get a Google page. And this is where everything changed for me. When I put myself on Google, that's when I reached a whole new demographic that I didn't even realize existed. A demographic that doesn't always live on social media or Instagram, but a demographic that has money and that can afford to get their hair done. You know, this is where it was life-changing. Making a Google page and then reaching out to every single client that you have ever done and having them write a review. Every single friend you've ever done and having them write a review. Anyone whose hair you touched and did and they were happy with their service and having them write a review. Even the bestie who you haven't done, just have her write a damn review. You know, like reviews and a Google page. Oh my God, that's everything, you know? And this is where you can really market your salon website. This is a game that I'm still learning how to play, but it's still working for me. As long as you have yourself up on Google and you're searchable and your website is there, people in your area are searching best sew-in extensions, best balayage, you know, best highlights in Dallas, Texas, Portland, Oregon. Those are cities I've worked in. But they're there and they're working, and it brings people to you immediately. You know, every single client that I've had in my chair, I'll ask them, how'd you find me? And they always say, I was just looking in Google, typing in like best sew-in extensions, best microbead extensions, you know, best hair extensions in Dallas. And as long as I made sure that I popped up in that search engine, I was one of the options for them. You know, that's when they'll see everything that's up there. They'll see everybody's website who has a website, everybody's page who has a page, and they'll go through and they'll see who they like the best. You know, who they seem the most comfortable with, who seems like they're gonna do a good job, who seems like they're not gonna scam them and take their money and not provide a good service. And the first place people always look are the reviews. I mean, think about it from a client's perspective. Or if you yourself were searching for a service to get done. Say you were looking for someone to do microblading on you, or a place to get your nails done, you know, or a massage, You know, a lot of times we'll type it into Google. You know, we may go to Instagram or TikTok. I'll do that too sometimes. I've started looking on social media so that way I could find people's accounts and their work. That's why a social media account is valuable. You know, you want to make sure that you're on there so you pop up when people are searching the hashtags and they're trying to look in the location for what's around. But it's the same with Google. You know, a lot of people go to Google. It's the #1 search engine in the world. So making sure that you pop up for them, that your website is optimized for SEO, search engine optimization. I mean, if you're an option for them, that's when you can really sell yourself through your website and make sure that you're someone that they want to go to, that they want to get their hair done by. This is where everything changed for me. This is where I started getting people calling my phone, people who I'd never met before. They weren't referred to me. They were just looking and they found me. Okay, and tip number 5, and this one really scared me when I was a baby stylist, is Yelp. Yelp really taps into that demographic that isn't always on social media, but they have the funds to get their hair done. Now, the thing that scared me about Yelp when I was younger and a baby stylist and doing hair was that I had a harder time creating a positive Yelp presence for myself. Not that I had a negative Yelp presence, but I just had a hard time making a presence on there. Yelp is pretty restrictive when it comes to reviews. You can't just have anybody go online and write a review for you. The way the algorithm works, only people who found you on Yelp, clicked on your profile, called you from your profile on Yelp, and wrote a review a little bit later in time, those were the reviews that were more likely to pop up on Yelp. So it's difficult to just have anybody and everybody whose hair that you've done go and give you a review on Yelp. So it was harder to build up reviews on Yelp, but I still built a clientele from it. And this started at the first salon where I was working independently. It was a small little shop in Salem, Oregon called Salon. And when I was looking for a place to work, I was a baby stylist. I was searching online for hair salons in the area. And that salon always came up as #1 on Google and Yelp. So I figured this is a good place to work at. If they're getting good reviews, clients are loving their hair, I'm probably gonna learn from the girls there. So I went to go work there. And that's where my coworkers were telling me about SEO, Google, Yelp. Put yourself on there. You don't have to pay for it, but just having a presence on there, you're gonna pop up and come up in the search engine. And it worked. You know, I think I built a clientele with only having maybe 3 or 4 reviews on Yelp. And even to this day, I think I only have about like 9 or 10 reviews on Yelp, I don't know, but I still get calls all the time from Yelp, and I still get clients coming in and they're happy with their hair, you know. And people don't always think to write a review when they're happy with their service, and Yelp really discourages you asking people to write a review. But I mean, you can do what you want at the end of the day. Ask them to write a review. If they love you, they'll do it. I mean, they like you, they're your clients. If they're happy with their hair, just do it. But that was game changer for me. Getting me on Google and Yelp, that's when it really opened my eyes to the type of targeted clientele that I want. You know, I've never had a client come to me from Yelp or Google that was really shocked by the pricing of my services. You know, when you have a thorough consultation with the client and you're explaining what goes into a service, why it costs what it costs, competing prices in the area, and you even encourage them to go out and look at competing places, you know, it builds trust in you. And the most important thing is having clients find you, you know, having clients make that initial contact with you. Getting yourself in their presence and in front of them. You know, when they're able to contact you, that's when the sale starts. You know, it all starts with having clients find you, making yourself searchable. From there, that's when I'd get people booked in for consultations where they really got to know me, where they really felt comfortable with me, confident in my pricing and the reasons why I was charging what I charged. That's everything right there. Just having that initial contact with the client. From there, you can go into closing the sale. But it all starts with making yourself searchable. Now, I always thought social media was the name of the game, and yeah, it's important. It is, and it is a method that works. But when I need clients fast, I do go to Google and to Yelp. I get my content up there, I get reviews up and going, because that's just something tangible that I can physically do and work on at my computer and get it done in a timely fashion. And it's quick. And your phone gets ringing pretty quickly once you're up there. Yeah, I do pay for marketing services with Google and Yelp. That was something that really skyrocketed it and really got clients calling me. When I didn't, I would get maybe 2 or 3 new clients in a month. When I started paying for those services, it was a lot more. You know, there were times when I'd have to turn it off just because I couldn't take the messages that were coming in. But at the end of the day, this exact method, from content creation to my website to marketing it on Google and Yelp, it's a process that just streamlines it and gets people calling me, gets my phone ringing quickly. Now, if any of this is helpful to you, go ahead and like this video. But creating a Google account and a Yelp account, it's very straightforward, super easy to do. The only thing that kind of intimidated me, or I thought I might not be able to do very well, was create a website. I was very young when I created my first website, but there's so many resources out there like Wix or Squarespace that make it so simple for you. So go ahead and check out this video here that I uploaded. I'm gonna show you in this video exactly how I created my website using Wix. Super straightforward, super easy, gave me a professional looking website that produced new clients for me. Thanks.